In this lesson, you will use your knowledge of mean, median, mode, and range to analyze problems and to determine which should be used at the best situation. Our goal is to apply and enhance previous understandings to summarize a data set by finding the mean, median, mode, and range. So, how should I use the mean, median, or mode to represent data? Well, let's review. We remember that the mean is the average. In other words, you add up all the numbers and divide that by the amount of numbers you have. The median is the middle. You list all the numbers in order and find the middle number. If there are two numbers in the middle, then you add them up and divide them by 2. The mode is the most. Find the numbers that occur the most often. And the range, you subtract the highest number and the lowest number. So it's the high minus the low. And I always used to give my students a little chant. The mean is the average, the median's in the middle, the mode is the one that occurs the most. The range is the high minus the low. And that little chant can help you remember it. So, there are some common mistakes when dealing with mean, median, mode, and range. Of course, students can get some of them confused. Mean, think of your teacher being mean because that's usually the most work, having to add up all the numbers and divide. Median, one of the problems students will have with the median is they'll just look for the middle number. They'll forget to list them first from least to greatest. So that's a really common mistake. Mode, M-O, mode, most, both start with M-O, so there's a good way of remembering that. And range, usually students can distinguish that one differently because of course it doesn't start with an M, which helps. And that vocabulary term applies to many different scenarios. So, why can't I just use the average to describe the data? Well, there's things called outliers, which we will get into in the next lesson, but there can be numbers that can skew the data that can make the average a little bit higher or lower than maybe it should be. And also, sometimes the average just isn't the best way to show your results. So let's look at an example. Television. Below is the information showing how much television Logan watched in 1 week. On a typical day, how many hours of television does Logan watch? So, we can look below and we can see we have Sunday was 6 hours, Monday 2, Tuesday 3, 2, 3, 3, and 2. So if I look at the average, I would add 6 plus 2 plus 3 plus 2 plus 3 plus 3 plus 2, which when we add all these numbers up, we get 21. And then, of course, we would divide it by 7 and get 3 hours. So we have 3 hours is our mean. Then we have our middle number, or our median. So we have to first order the numbers from least to greatest. And it's a good idea to check them off when you do this. And then we have 3, 3, 3, and 6. So we have the median is the middle number, which we can see in this case is 3. Mode or most often, we have 2 modes, 2 and 3. It is possible to have no mode, and it is possible to have more than one mode. And then we have the range, which of course would be, let me do this in a different color, 6 minus 2, which is 4. So when I use this data, I can see, okay, well my average is 3. That 6 could have skewed it a little bit high. But my median, which is the middle number, is also 3. Again, it's because of that 6. So my mode, or most often, is 2 and 3. So in this case, in order to be a little bit more accurate, I would say on a typical day, Logan watches 2 to 3 hours, or you can even say, oh, close to 2.5. So it's really important that you're analyzing data and really thinking about it critically. If I just said, Logan usually watches an average of 3 hours, that could be considered a little high. Of course, what you'd want to do is to look at other weeks and see if maybe on Sundays this student really does watch more TV every week consistently, or if this was just one of those anomalies. So it is important that you're analyzing information carefully. So how can you do that? Let's try. The following list of data shows donations received during a fundraiser. So we have $25, $30, $20, $150, $35, $40, $25, and $20. A potential donor wants to know what a typical donation is. Does that mean represent a typical donation? Explain why or why not. If not, which measure is the most useful to describing a typical donation? So what you're going to do is you're going to find the mean, median, mode, and range of the data set. Then you're going to describe the best representation for your findings. Go ahead and take a minute to pause the tutorial and analyze this problem now. And be ready to talk about this the next day in class. In this lesson, we reviewed finding the mean, median, mode, and range. In addition, we analyzed a data set in order to determine what are some better representations instead of just always going with the average. In some cases, the average is your best representation. But in next tutorials, we're really going to get into how people can manipulate data in order to skew their results by using the mean, median, or mode. It's always important to think critically, especially when someone tells you statistics. So, get out there and read some more. I think you've had enough television for today. Good job.